During the ratification debates, some of the anti-federalists warned that the Constitution would give Americans a new monarch just in disguise. And Hamilton, in number 69 here, responds with, let me show you exactly why the president is not a king. And he sets the two offices kind of side by side, and he goes point by point, power by power, and he just wants to prove the difference. There's no metaphors, there's no abstractions. It's just this clean constitutional comparison. And this is Hamilton confronting the fear of the executive with facts. I'm Matt Haskell. I'm a high school history and civics teacher, and we're going through all of the Federalist Papers, all 85 of them, one by one. And we're up to number 69, and let's go ahead and set the stage here for Hamilton's argument, because he knows that if the public believes the president is secretly a monarch, then the Constitution is it's doomed. So he makes the comparison pretty stark as possible. The president is elected, he's limited and accountable. The king, it's all hereditary, it's unlimited, and it's unaccountable. And so Hamilton goes on to tell the readers of the essay, don't judge the president by rumor, judge it by the text of the Constitution. And when you do, all that fear is going to dissipate. And Hamilton's central argument, his thesis, it's pretty simple. The president has far fewer powers than the British king. And every one of those powers is limited by checks and balances. And so he goes on to contrast the offices across some major categories like military power and legislative authority, appointments, treaties, pardons, terms of office, and then accountability. And then that leads to the conclusion of the president is powerful enough to govern, but too limited to rule. So let's start with the commander-in-chief versus the commander of the nation. So the British king commands the entire military, can declare war, can raise armies, can appoint officers, and can just deploy forces unilaterally. Now, the American president, commands the military after Congress authorizes it through a declaration of war. The president cannot declare war. The president cannot raise armies or fund them. The president cannot appoint officers without a Senate confirmation. And the president cannot deploy forces without congressional oversight. And so Hamilton's message here is the president may hold the sword, but Congress controls the arm that swings the sword. Now, when it comes to legislative authority, we have the British monarch that can make laws, suspend laws, dissolve parliament, can convene a new parliament, can control the timing of elections for parliament, whereas the American president can only recommend laws, cannot create laws, cannot suspend laws, cannot dissolve Congress, cannot force Congress to meet, except in some sessions, and then the president can veto, but Congress can override the veto. So Hamilton, once again, is going to emphasize the king legislates, the president negotiates. And then with the appointment power that we have here with the executives, the British king does appoint all the officers of the government and grants titles of nobility and fills offices by royal favor. The president nominates officers, but the Senate must approve them. The president cannot create titles of nobility. It's forbidden by the Constitution. The president cannot fill offices permanently without the Senate's consent. And finally, the president can make temporary appointments only when the Senate is in recess. These are recess appointments. And Hamilton's point here is the king appoints all by himself. The president can only appoint with permission. Then the treaty power. The British king makes treaties entirely on his own and binds the entire country through his unilateral decisions. Whereas the American president can negotiate treaties, but the Senate must approve by a 2/3 vote. And that means the president cannot bind the country all by himself to a treaty. Hamilton underlines this as one of the biggest differences, and that is foreign policy is shared, not seized. So the president and the Senate share that foreign policy. When it comes to pardons, the king can pardon any crime, even crimes involving treason against himself, whereas the American president can grant pardons except in cases of impeachment. and cannot use the pardon power to protect himself from removal. So Hamilton goes on to stress that no president can pardon his own impeachment. A king can pardon anything. When it comes to term of office, the British king, well, he's in office for life. He rules for life. Cannot be removed. Power passes to their heirs. Now, they can be removed, but it's usually through violence. Whereas the American president serves for 4 years, must stand for re-election, can be removed by the impeachment process, and there's no hereditary authority. And Hamilton calls this the clearest difference of them all. When it's about accountability, the British king cannot be tried, cannot be impeached, cannot be prosecuted. The American president can be impeached, can be accused there, can be removed from office, can be tried after leaving office, and is subject to the law like every citizen. No man is above the law. This is Hamilton at the time. And his message is, a king is above the law. The president is under the law. Finally, but let's now get to Hamilton's chain of reasoning, his logic, the 5 points, right? So if we tighten everything down, 1, the president's powers are defined and limited. 2, every major power is shared or checked. 3, the British king's powers are broad, unilateral, and hereditary. The president, number 4, answers to the people and to the Constitution. And 5, the presidency is energetic, but not monarchic. Is that even a word? That's what I'm going to go with. And so that's the Federalist number 69 in those 5 easy steps. Hamilton's tone in this particular essay, it's more like a legal brief, because he wants the reader to see that the Constitution creates an executive, the president, and not a monarch. And so this essay is where Hamilton is correcting misinformation, trying to calm fears, building trust for the Constitution, within the Constitution, and then just like grounding debate in reality and not rumor. This means his moral dimension is power is safest when it is divided and defined and accountable. The president's strength comes from not this unlimited authority, but it comes from constitutional balance. Energy without tyranny. And you have leadership without domination. And you have responsibility without that flavoring of royalty. And this is the American promise. That's what Hamilton lays out. Number 69 still shapes modern debates. I mean, hopefully you've picked up on them as you've watched. Like, how powerful is the president? What limits exist on executive actions? Can the president start wars on his own? How strong is the veto? Can a president be prosecuted? And how does the United States differ from parliamentary systems around the world? Hamilton's comparison remains the foundation for understanding the way the American executive branch works today. Our takeaways from this particular lesson would be that, hey, the president is not a monarch. He is constitutionally limited. Every major executive power is checked by Congress or specifically the Senate. 3, the framers built this energetic executive without creating a king, without creating a monarch. Federalist number 69 is, it's Hamilton's reality check when it comes to the Constitution. He lays the British crown, and the American presidency side by side. And he's doing that to prove the new executive in America is powerful enough to lead, but not powerful enough to rule. This essay is the essay that answers the most basic fear of the early republic. Are we trading one king for another? And Hamilton's answer is written with clarity and precision, and it's unmistakable. No, we are creating something entirely new. So, I hope you enjoyed number 69 here. I hope this helped you understand the difference between a president and a king from Hamilton's point of view at that time. And hang around and join me for number 70, probably tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, right? Yeah. And this is where Hamilton is back, and he's going to make the case for that strong, energetic executive, the President of the United States. Thanks a lot for watching.